Hey there, Toonami faithful, and welcome back aboard Toonami Absolution, where we talk about the shows that made us us and the shows that made you you. Once again, we are your hosts. My name is Alex.
I'm Sam.
And I'm John. Yu Yu Hakusho, episode 11, Hard Fights for Yusuke. Japan got it December 19th, 1992. Adult Swim got it May 4th, 2002. And then episode 12, Rando rises, Kuwabara falls. Japan, December 92. Adult Swim, May 11th, 2002.
So we're continuing with the theme of Yusuke just getting
Leveled.
Just annihilated.
Yeah.
Absolutely nuked from orbit. And John, this is how did Toonami edit around the climax of this fight?
I can't believe what they did. They cut it.
They
What?
cut it?
The entire cigarette thing. So Yusuke puts cigarette is gone. He just gets a lucky shot off, apparently. Literally, so they cut Genkai smoking in the recap. They cut Yusuke explaining that how he used a cigarette. They cut all the dialogue after that as well. So Kuwabara saying, "Where'd you learn to be so tricky?" Botan saying, "Oh, it's probably from trying to skip classes." That all gets cut. And there's a load of... And then because later on, when they go outside, Yusuke says, "Oh, you're going to throw another cigarette." They cut all that scene as well. So, like, Genkai explaining, "Oh, we're going out onto this hill for our second fight," that's gone. And Kuwabara's joke about you being unlucky about pulling lots is also gone because of that. Which that means this undermines the joke at the end of him falling into the soup, because Kuwabara's like, "Oh, that must have been, making up for you being bad at lots." But here that makes no sense because they haven't talked about the lots before. Yeah, so the Toonami version of this episode is cut to absolute ribbons. Makes pretty much zero sense. Yusuke just wins.
That's crazy.
So how much of the episode exists? Like, wait, how long is the episode then?
It's a good 3-4 minutes shorter.
Yeah.
Dang. Because, like, the climax of that, I can't remember Helmet Guy's name right now. Like,
Helmet Guy's good enough.
Helmet Guy.
Starts with a K, Kaibano.
Yeah, they call him Kaibano. We don't even know if that's his real name. But
Dave.
yeah, so in the fight, it's Dave. In the fight, he's clearly curb stomping Yusuke, and then Yusuke sees the glow of the cigarette and is able to use that as his way of winning the fight. And then we fight Swastika guy.
Kazumaru,
yeah.
Swastika Ninja. With his Frieza discuses, which are shuriken that do the Frieza thing, and they do the Frieza thing the same way.
Oh, the censors must have been so happy because his swastika is obviously removed in all the shots, but thank the Lord you don't see him head on that much, and when you do see him head on, he isn't moving. I mean, the removal here is actually quite seamless. I do wonder if that's why all the other scenes were cut. It's like, we don't have time to digitally paint out the cigarette because we've got to remove all of this swastika.
There's way too many swastikas.
One
swastika is worth like 6 cigarettes. You know that, right?
It's the entire team are on it.
You gotta get your favorite MS Paint guy on it, Like,
Yeah. What if they just took off like the ends and made it a cool S?
Who make it that like millennial S on his forehead?
Yeah, I mean, it's like
Just says ninja with his forehead now in like Comic Sans. Oh,
Yeah.
Ninja.
I'm going to presume they didn't do that because he's from so many angles. It would be an absolute. That was the problem with the last episode. We see him moving, and it's digital paint becomes annoying when people are moving.
Yeah.
I mean, Microsoft Paint is annoying to begin with. Have you ever tried to draw with a mouse on that thing? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Can we talk about where Genkai lives for a brief moment? Because Genkai's temple is next to the forest full of giant batmen, and her back garden is apparently a battlefield where hundreds of men died, leading to an army going crazy and killing each other. I think she should move.
I think she picked it on purpose.
I would love to know what the talk with the realtor was like. So here's the room for your arcade machines. Here's the bloodiest battlefield in Japanese history. By the way, some bat guys live in the forest. They're pretty chill. They don't pay rent, but they're pretty chill.
The realtor was like, "This is going to cost you 8,000 yen a month," and she was like, "Yeah, hell yeah, let's do it."
Psychic wave, and he just explodes.
Yeah.
That 8,000 yen, all $50 a month to own this place.
I'll give you a pack of cigarettes.
We'll get you a pack of cigarettes, and the Batmen are free. Like that comes included with the package. But yeah, we got some good wrap up on the Yusuke fights. I think that they like it's an interesting way to break up these fights, but man, Swastika Ninja really does not last very long when Yusuke gets blindly lucky and falls in a hole.
Yeah, I like it though. I like the fact we're continuing the idea of that Yusuke's main superpower is that he can take a kicking.
Yeah.
Which is a nice power for him to have, and yeah, he's just more clever because it does make sense. Yeah, like he comes from a street fighting background, so that means you are going to have to be cleverer. You know, there is in the real world there is no I have magic powers boom. There is like, well, I'm used to pulling pipes and broken bottles to fight, so just this is a bigger version of that.
I also have to mention this because I feel like I've finally come to terms with it. When Yusuke is getting the crap beaten out of him, why do we always have to give him such a glamour shot? You know what I mean? Like they make him look very good damaged, as opposed to Kuwabara, who just his face gets caved in. But no, Yusuke looks beautifully ruffled every time he gets knocked around too much.
There's a bunch of being dead.
Yeah, there's a shot of when Yusuke is being chased by the Shuriken and he's running towards the crowd, and the focus is on Kuwabara, and because of the angle, it looks like Kuwabara doesn't have a nose. Like he just has the nostril slots. He just looks like a skeleton man that is like reacting in shock as he realizes the Shuriken are coming his way. They do not take the time to make Kuwabara look good. They're just like, you know, he's like a Frankenstein person.
I love having him run towards. One thing that we've been talking about the pacing, but the structure of this episode is really nice. I love what we have to fight, then we go outside to a new battlefield. Very small touch, but it really helps keep these fights interesting by giving us new gimmicks every time without having to sort of pull things out of our butts for them. But I love having him and Kuwabara in the fight does allow that Shuriken moment to work. It's actually a really effective fake out because of it. Because we've already established technically the only victories that Rando needs to lose, and we've kind of flagged that Kuwabara might win overall. He's developing psychic power very quickly. So that does make that, is Yusuke just going to get themselves both blown up? Works really nicely.
Yeah.
It's good. I feel like these episodes give us a lot of really fun and good character interactions because like I know we're talking about the first one first, but man, I can't wait to talk about the next one because Rando rises, Kuwabara falls. I've got big emotions around that, especially because it's going to kick off a trend in this particular anime.
Is it of Kuwabara nearly getting killed?
Kuwabara nearly getting killed, and that being the thing that unlocks Yusuke getting stronger. Like, anytime we need Yusuke to get an immediate power-up, Kuwabara needs to get the... But just to briefly talk about Kuwabara getting the shit kicked out of him in that episode, I forgot how sadistic Rando snapping his arm when he's made into miniature is. Like, it actually kind of made me squirmy and uncomfortable.
It's like Rando's an interesting character because like he looks like he belongs in like Astro Boy. And like he's drawn so differently than the rest of the characters, even Genkai. And there's a moment where you almost feel sorry for him, right? As he's getting like just beaten up in the beginning of both fights, frankly. And then he at first I was like, did he just grow? It's like, no, Kuwabara just shrunk.
That camera shot's great. That is a great camera shot.
Yeah, to kind of like reveal what's actually going on. And then it turns the whole thing on his head when he turns the tables and has Kuwabara right where he wants him. And you see how cruel he can be.
He's like a Funko Pop monk, is what he looks like.
Yes.
He's the Funko monk.
Yeah.
It's like if Chaozu was allowed to get tall, you know?
He's Chaozu on steroids.
Yeah,
Chaozu on steroids.
It's Chaozu that has the big shoulders now.
But that scene with Rando just like holding Kuwabara and like snapping his arm and how slow it is, and the Foley artist going insane with the bone on bone sound.
With the Rice Krispies in the palm.
And Sabat just screaming for the rafters.
I think part of it is it's not an arm break, like kind of the snap arm break. It's the press in and pull out, which is less obviously like an arm break, but more uncomfortable because it's pushing it. It's a more display of raw power than sort of a. Do you know when you're a kid, you break your arm, you kind of fall out of a tree and it bends funny? That's kind of normal. There's something weirdly sadistic about breaking it by pushing it inward.
Yeah.
Though, if you're watching Toonami, what arm break? Kuwabara's fine. Kuwabara just got a little hand hug and thrown to the ground. Kuwabara is fine. Nothing happened. They cut that entire scene.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine they would have to cut, because I just watching, even as an adult watching it, it was like,
It's one of those cuts that I go, well, then really, if we're at the point of cutting this, why are we even having this as an episode? Like, so much is built on that moment. It just felt like really. It also makes Yusuke look a bit weird, because Yusuke is freaking out over literally nothing.
Yeah.
Hey, he loves his bro. There's some real bromance happening there, you know?
So that means if you're watching it, it's just angry Yusuke who just beats the crap out of Rando just because.
Only I can hug him!
Yeah.
Only me! That is my Frankenstein, man. How dare you?
It does lead to a really funny unintentional joke, though, which I quite liked. Because obviously we do the Monty Python bit, because Botan's like, oh, Kuwabara will reach Nirvana, and Kuwabara sits up and goes, I'm not dead!
Yeah.
Of course, in the Toonami, that's still in. But there is, obviously, because we haven't seen his arm break, and the fight was very short, so it kind of has the implication that Botan just presumes anyone who's on the floor is dead, which is funny in its own right.
Which offers a lot of questions for her job as the Grim Reaper, because, like, anytime she would see people would be on the floor dead. So, like, it makes sense.
It's just like, she's always, like, just 1 minute away from, like just hanging over Kuwabara's bed, like, I think he's, no, he's just sleeping.
It's happening. I see it happening. She works on commission.
It's a stamp from Koenma.
But yeah, and like I like the idea of Rando being this like demon collector of all these other things, and actually and I like that little thing of him getting excited to use this ability because he's never had the opportunity to use it because it takes too long to do. Like there's something really fun about that kind of character trait to it.
Yeah, I think that also, it speaks to the subversion. And if you think about it, it's kind of like we get a double subversion with Rando. We get him turning the tables on Kuwabara, and we get the final reveal that he's actually like a ghost, like glam rocker person.
He took some time out to put on his makeup. He's going to a ghost concert after the fight.
Yeah,
hey, remember,
teased out his hair. Yeah.
This is the early 90s. Everybody gets teased hair eventually. It's still in Japan, 1994 is still 1983. Like, you gotta understand that.
I like the thing of him saying, like, I don't usually do this because it takes a lot of time. Because, again, it sets up some nice seeds. It also, again, flags that this is a way for Yusuke to win. I like the fact we're making... It's one of my big problems at Dragon Ball is that everyone starts using Turtle Hermit techniques. And that's, the world is now infinitely smaller because everyone has the same 4 moves. Here we're saying, there are different fighting styles. Like, we saw the one guy using judo, and they have their own weaknesses. So if Yusuke can work out what that weakness is, he might stand a chance here.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of all the characters that I can now do the Kamehameha wave, and it's lots.
Everybody, even that farmer Vegeta killed now knows how to do it. You just go to a Gashapon machine. It's just in there. It's in your fortune cookies.
Vegeta can do it. He just refuses to.
I just like the thing that I always like to remind people is that technically Trunks does it in Bio Broly.
He does do it in Bio Broly.
And it's the only time he does it, but we'll get to that when we cover the travesty that is Bio Broly.
It's just us talking for 3 hours about Bio Broly.
just weeping sounds.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I like the 2 Rando fights that we get, like the truncated one with Kuwabara, because like I said, and like we all know, this is the beginning of Kuwabara's tragic Worf effect that is going to happen to him. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the Worf effect, it is basically, there is a character, you're going to throw them at this And normally they're pretty strong and they're showing that they're doing a good job, but they're going to get their ass beat to show you just how powerful the villain is. Vegeta is this in Dragon Ball Z for a while. Kuwabara gets to be this, and then Kurama gets it a little bit too, but that's only because Kurama has to get taken out of pretty much every fight he's in.
Yeah. Gotta find a way.
I love how we also handle the reveal of him as well when we get the sort of Genkai being like, "Oh yeah, no, I know this technique." That guy's dead though, so no one could have taught him that unless he's the one who killed them. So a really nice way of doing it, and makes Genkai feel like a really integral part of this moving piece we have going on.
Yeah.
I love that Genkai doesn't even react. Genkai's like, yeah, he's still alive.
Well, yeah. Genkai is nonplussed for that's. I always love it when they cut back to the crowd shots because Genkai is same facial expression as the last time you saw her, just kind of just sitting there, cigarette in mouth, unless I guess you're watching it on Toonami, and
the lollipop on Toonami.
Yeah, and just kind of like watching this all unfold, completely unimpressed as far as we can visibly tell.
Though, actually, Alex, can you help me with something that was bugging me in this episode? Are we going to discover that Genkai was fixing this fight somehow?
No.
Oh, because during the fight he says, "I can't move my knees."
No, it's Genkai's not doing anything.
So why can't he move his knees?
I don't remember, but I do think
he
it's
just
something.
Just exclaims it at one point. My knees! I was like, oh.
My knees!
So, I have him prove to me, Genkai is helping Yusuke because this guy's obviously cheating. But no, apparently he can't move his knees.
No, Genkai straight up. Like, when Genkai says that she doesn't care who wins this mini tournament of hers, she does not care. Like, that's something I actually genuinely appreciate about Genkai. It's like, we're not dealing with the moral fiber of Master Roshi over here as much as there is, She's just like, nope. I've lived long enough. If this is how I die, this is how I die.
I have one earthly vice, and it's cigarettes.
And demon men, as we'll find out later. But it is interesting that Genkai is so amoral at this point in the story.
Just sudden knee failure is what's taking me out.
Yeah, sudden knee failure.
The one thing a demon can't deal with, sudden joint pain. It gets to all of us.
Yeah.
Finally, some representation for me.
How much vitamin D do you think you're getting in the demon world, right? Like, obviously, there's going to be some early onset arthritis.
Yeah.
I don't know. Based on Koenma's office, I think they've got a strong, I think the snacks offered are pretty high quality.
But do they get potassium?
I mean, that's Spirit World, though. You can go to the Publix at Spirit World.
Vitamin, woo, ghost noise. I do like the fact we keep getting our little cutbacks to Koenma.
Yeah.
Because they're a nice... I like how we get one and we cut back to Kuwabara... we cut back to Yusuke getting beaten. Which, again, is a nice way of getting rid of that boring first part of the fight. But also like it because it is still teasing that there could be a magical thing going on here. So, again, it does give us another option for... Well, maybe Koenma's going to help Yusuke do something. We're keeping a lot of nice open options.
I think the other thing I like, too, is that even when they're down to grown-up Chaozu... Like, they don't even, they're not fully there thinking that he's Rando yet. They're just kind of like, oh, maybe he's somebody else. Maybe he got eliminated early. What is going on here? And then the reveal, I like that we're still not sure, even though process of elimination has happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he's just, I mean, again, it speaks to the subversion of the design. You would never expect that from Chaozu Astro Boy, whatever we're calling it.
Chaozu Boy?
Yeah. Like it's there. I remember the moment where like Kuwabara just like slams into him, and I was like, "Oh, it's a child."
but Kuwabara is a child, so it's fine.
Kuwabara has punched children.
Kuwabara is a children that punches. Like,
punches other children.
He punches other children. It's okay. I work in education. I see this all the time. They punch each other constantly.
The Kuwabara School for Children Who Can't Punch Well.
You will learn to punch because I will punch you.
He's right in his wheelhouse, in his comfort zone in this episode until he isn't.
He very much isn't.
Yeah. How about it's interesting how Yusuke gets past Rando's first form, how he forces the transformation.
Yeah.
Pure beatdown.
Yeah.
It's just go like I do there is something about Yusuke's general like punch it until I can't punch it anymore energy that I do like, especially because we don't have the spirit gun to lean back on right now, or at least it seems that way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they got the one shot.
I like Genkai's whole thing of like, oh yeah, his spirit energy is a bit different to everyone else's, which in a lot of anime is a sign of the apocalypse coming, because it
Yeah.
means we're going to start breaking every rule and bullshitting away. But here, I like how they're using it as like, yeah, he's untrained and weird, but it's not inherently an advantage. Like, I really like when he gets through the air attack, whereas the whole like Genkai thing is like, that's surprising. Then Yusuke sounds like, yeah, no, it hurt like hell, but I'm just really annoyed. Like, his only real superpower is just like, I can take much more punishment than any of these other people. And I think that is something, you see it mentioned a bit in sort of boxing. It's like a problem with some high level sort of semi-pro professional boxers is a lot of the really good semi-pros never got hit. So when they get into the pro level and get hit for the first time, as Mike Tyson says, everyone has a plan till they get punched in the face.
Yeah.
I think that works here because Yusuke, yeah, he's not the best, but he knows what to do when he's losing, which is a skill in and of itself.
Sure. Yeah.
And he's got the pain tolerance to go with it too. Like I said last time, it's been a while since I've been punched in the face, but you got to have some real pain tolerance to stay standing if you're getting hit like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Much less the machine gun punches he endures.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's full fist of the North Star at one point.
I think that overall, it's something I appreciate about Yu Yu Hakusho is that it's very rare in Yu Yu Hakusho where you feel like, okay, 100% Yusuke's got that. It's so rare that you feel like, because we're all connoisseurs of Dragon Ball. At a certain point in Dragon Ball, it was like, okay, Goku's going to show up and everything's going to be fine. Yu Yu Hakusho doesn't really ever give you that with Yusuke. There's always that like he could just get the crap beaten out of him, and we don't know how this is going to turn out.
Yeah, I think that's why they deliberately hold off on Goku arriving on the scene for, like, because we know he's going to come on the scene for the Saiyan Saga. We just don't know when. We know he's going to come on the scene for the Ginyu Force, King Piccolo, Frieza. We just don't know when. Yusuke's there from the start.
I mean, it's the same. They do that in One Piece with just Zoro having a bad sense of direction. It's the Kenpachi problem. It's like at a certain point you have to get rid of certain characters. Otherwise, it's just the fight ends. I mean, that's what happened. This will happen to Kurama a lot because Kurama is the smartest of the four of them and is mentioned multiple times for being way more dangerous than most of them. So he gets taken out of the fight very fast going forward.
I think with this is also a testament to how they've set these situations up, where, again, we have these options where Yusuke could lose and still technically win. Like, his mission here is to eliminate Rando. Winning the tournament may help with that, but there is also the option that he could just wait until Rando wins, then jump in from behind. Like, Yusuke doesn't technically have to win this tournament to win the war. In the same way that we saw that they sort of teased out with him running at Kurama and be like, hey, I'm going to get myself blown up, and you win, because all I've got to do is kill this dude. So by having these really open situations, it does give us chances where, Yusuke doesn't have to technically overpower his foes. He can resort to weird trickery to get what he wants.
Yeah, I think that there's something fun about I don't have to win, you just have to lose. Like there's a difference to that changes up the stakes, and I think that that's what keeps it kind of interesting.
Right. He's not always necessarily the strongest in a fight. In a lot of cases, he isn't. We saw that with Hiei. We saw that with Demon Man who gets shot in the mouth. We saw that with it's Kazumaru who takes himself out essentially. We might see something similar with Rando, but we'll but we'll touch on that later. But yeah, it's always, it's not necessarily might makes right. It's more strategic than that.
Yeah, it's definitely helping given this. Yeah, we've had in the last couple we've had basically 4, 5 fights.
Yeah,
and they've each had a very different pace, a very different storyline, which I quite. There hasn't been one battle that hasn't had its own little narrative going through it, which is a big problem. Even like a lot of tournament arcs, those early battles are treated as just here are the motions, here's the big move, we go, next one. Here, like, so this is the story of this one guy and the other guy, Yusuke using the cigarette. So it feels like nice individual little bits.
Like there's something very cool about the way that the fights are set up in Yu Yu Hakusho. Like you said, they all have their own little narrative. They all have their own little miniature microcosm story happening within them. And I think a lot of modern shonen loses out on that a lot. And I know I keep ragging on modern shonen. I love modern shonen, but then I go back to Yu Yu Hakusho and I'm like, wow, this is a masterclass in shonen anime.
If I remember correctly, in terms of the competitors, a lot of these competitors don't show up again after this tournament, right? This is kind of it.
And that's it.
Yeah.
That is the
Which is
one thing with
wild.
Yu Yu Hakusho. Unlike some other anime, there are one-off characters. Like
Yeah.
there some of these freaks. These freaks are never showing up again.
Yeah, we keep invoking Dragon Ball in One Piece, and it's like a lot of those antagonists show up down the line.
All the time.
Yeah.
I checked, the Swastika Man doesn't come back again, so there was much rejoicing in the Toonami offices.
And on the one hand, I like continuity a lot. Like I like it when characters show up. I like when they get like level ups, but I also kind of like it when I like it in Yu Yu Hakusho because like, we get to have that moment with them, and they still get to feel scary and threatening, and they don't get team rocketed like what happened to Frieza. You know what I mean? Because like I love Frieza. He has great moments. I need to be done with Frieza and Dragon Ball. I need to, because it's not the characters lost a lot of their gravitas.
I think it also makes the world feel bigger. It's not, this tournament's been really cool for setting up that there's all these weird little enclaves of weird spiritualists wandering around with their own unique things going on, and it gives a nice anything that could happen feeling. Any of these guys could, even if they don't, you say could meet one of their guys and maybe have to deal with that. It's nice to know the world isn't 7 people fighting for all eternity, and that maybe we can be surprised once in a while.
It's nice. It's very cool. But so we're getting close to the end, my friends. So what are our final thoughts on these 2 episodes?
Good fights. Good fights. like happy to see, like we've always talked about the pacing here. It's always great. Good to see us kind of moving at a steady clip, and kind of wild that we're already nearing the end of our first tournament arc, whereas Dragon Ball would stretch it out forever.
Great pacing. I am Toonami. The cuts in these episodes are so odd, and this is probably one of the worst edits I have ever seen for TV. Like, I honestly think if you watched these on Toonami, you would have been left utterly confused. There had to have been something they could have done more than just removing the entire narrative of the episode. I guess they were just very hardcore on cigarettes. It also makes you think, remember, this is still the point of this is being shown first on Adult Swim. So there's a point coming up where someone's like, actually, you know what? We can probably move this down to Toonami. Like, was that a good idea considering this episode?
If I remember, this was a weird time in American broadcast, because this is where a lot of like cigarette advertisement was starting to get really like scrutinized, if I recall correctly.
Well, it was also when they were dialing up the anti-tobacco campaigns, like I remember all the anti-tobacco ads that would air probably during this commercial block. It's also, Sanji over in the One Piece world, of course, getting his own lollipop during this time. Yeah, so it's of the era.
Don't smoke, kids, you'll become a cool elderly wizard lady.
Yeah.
Oh no, the horrors. He's going out to buy a pack of 400 now.
Cartons.
Go out and get those cowboy killers, kids. But yeah, I like these episodes a lot. I am a big fan of this show. It's so weird seeing so much of what will become narratively important getting seeded so early, and then being like, oh yeah, a lot of this started extremely early in this show, and it's a testament to the writing and the pacing of the show how relevant everything gets to still feel even later on down the line. But that does mean we have reached our final destination. That's right. It is time for us to disembark from Toonami Absolution. We want to thank you once again for joining us and talking about the shows that made us us and the shows that made you you. We have been your hosts. My name is Alyx.
I'm Sam.
And I'm John.
And we'll see you next time. Bang.